Carnegie Mellon University in 1986. He is an alum of Kettering, having earned his BSME from General Motors Institute in 1979 and received his master's from Michigan State University in 1981. He holds the rank of professor and teaches in the area of energy systems. He has been a faculty member at Kettering University since January 1st, 1987, and served as mechanical engineering department head from 1944 to 2012. Dr. Berry is an international ASME fellow, a registered Michigan professional engineer, and works to develop interdisciplinary education and research programs in energy systems. So a few highlights. He was the first faculty of color hired within Kettering University's Mechanical Engineering Department. He was the youngest faculty in mechanical engineering upon hiring back in 1987. He was the first faculty of color and youngest as head of mechanical engineering in 1994. He raised U.S. News college rankings from number 13 to number 2 in the United States. That's during 2011 and 2012. Best ever in the history of Kettering University, and not achieved since. Okay, so it's up there. Longest serving head of engineering department in the history of Kettering, and the department has secured over $5 million in federal and state funding for Michigan's first fuel cell research center through the Department of Energy, Department of Labor, National Science Foundation, Next Energy, and the state of Michigan. The department faculty secured more dollars for laboratory and development through consulting, corporate gifts, and federal research grants than any other department collectively in the history of Kettering. So he's been here in his near 40 years at Kettering, conservatively impact over 4,000 inspiring young minds to seek and change the world. He is also founder and CEO of Kingsbury Fuel Cell Power Incorporated. His priorities are God, family, academics, and basketball. Did you all know he was a basketball coach? He actually coached his daughter AAU basketball team, which were the Michigan Lady Canes, and was Michigan's U15 state champions, and played in tournaments across Eastern U.S., including Disney World. Wow. He is married to the beautiful Lynette, and he has, his children are Ashley and Sydney, both of which are graduates from Kettering, and Kimberly and Jonathan. Jonathan is here with him today. He's the super tall guy in the room, right? So to share a few stories about Dr. Joe Berry, he would like his dear friends, Raymond Fears and Ella Reeves, to come to the stage and share a couple of stories about him.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Raymond Fears, and I am a Kettering graduate, 1977, Bachelor of Science in Industrial Administration. The few, the proud, the IAs.
All right!
I had to say that because back when I was here, I was 20% IAs and 80% engineers. We had to fight for our respect every day. I first met Joe. I was his resident advisor, and I was on one end of the hall, and Joe was on the other end of the hall. And one day, a student came down to me and said, "I got to change my room." And it happened to be, you guys know how the GMI dorms are set up. I guess they're still set up this way. There was you kind of had a private room. Only thing you had to share was a telephone booth between the room and a sliding door. And the guy said, I can't have this guy as a roommate. And the bottom line is he he had not had any exposure. This was 1973, 1974. He did not have any exposure to African Americans. He just wasn't going to deal with it. So I told him, no, that's not how it works here. This is 1974. This is not 1944. You got to grow up and deal with it. And so he went to the dean of the residence hall and got the same message. And but this was 1974, and somehow he found a way to wiggle out of that room. It took him a while, but he was eventually gone. But Joel never missed him. and we see what Joel has become to today. It was his loss, basically.
Absolutely, amen.
Yeah. Another thing I remember about Joel, a couple things. Joel is my fraternity brother, Phi Eta Psi. He is also he also pledged under me, and my line. This is one of the first sets of pledges that we had under us. Got another one of my brothers that's on my line with me that pledged Joe, and I have to say that Joe was very determined because it's not easy to make Phi Eta Psi. And Joe was determined, and he went all the way through. We did lose a lot of people from various lines, but Joe crossed those burning sands in the end. And, I guess I don't want to take too much time. The last thing I want to say about Joe is he's always been such a hard worker. Besides everything he was doing, you talk about everything he did to improve GMI as a department head and overall to bring in the fuel cell directorship in the state. He's doing that simultaneously with running the fuel cell business. It's not like you could do one and not do the other. So what is normally an 8 or 10 hour day, turns to be a 16, 20 hour day. And he just keeps grinding through it. He's gonna, he's a determined person and he's gonna succeed. It's just, he has succeeded, okay? He has succeeded, but it's his will and his determination. And it's near and dear to my heart. He and Lynette are superstars for those kids. I mean, it's like 4 stars. How does that happen? You got to have one black sheep. No. So kudos to Joel and Lynette.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ella Reavers, and I'm also an alumni from General Motors Institute.
Yes, Ella.
I was in that last class just before they officially changed it to Kettering. I respected Kettering, being from General Motors and all, but they asked us, well, which do you want on your diploma? And I said, General Motors Institute. But looking at this bulldog in front of me tonight, I can't help but think that is such an excellent representation of my friend Joe Berry, because he is like a bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember when we were just trying to make it through, and sometimes I'd have to lean on him to help me with something, and he was vigilant and helped me because I had no study habits when I came to I didn't know what study habits was. I was blessed, I guess, as I went through school and was eventually accepted here at Kettering. But it took people like Joel to help me ground myself. He would come to my room sometimes and ask me, it seemed like he said, well, where are your books? They're under the bed. Why are they under the bed? Well, there's no room on my bookshelf for them. But he put sense in my head regarding staying focused on why we were here at Kettering. And I so appreciated that in him. But he's so well-rounded that he wasn't just a bookworm. My man could dance.
Yes.
He could dress. He liked to show up and show out, but then he was also a humble soul. and he's the type of person that you could appreciate. I know I did. Years after I was gone, and he had become the professor here at Kettering, he called me up one time and was talking about some students he had in it was either a thermal class or was it a heat transfer class? One of those classes. He couldn't understand how the kids seemed to be so callous about the work that they were doing, the subject he was teaching. You know, how dare you not be more into this? I had to pull his coattail. Joe, remember, we were there. Remember what it was like when we were there? Well, I guess. But he has always, from what I've picked up from him and from what I've seen of him in his years as an instructor, had the students, had them foremost in his mind. He called me about a year ago. It wasn't even a whole year ago. He was concerned about a young lady in his class. That's where his heart has always been. And I so appreciate him, and I'm so glad that he's getting this recognition because he deserves it. Thank you, Joe.
Joel, can you join me, please? Go. There you go. Crying. The African American Alumni Network shares this appreciation award presented to Dr. K. Joe Berry for 38 years of dedicated teaching and service to Kettering University /GMI, students, alumni, and corporate partners. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so very, very much. And I'm so humble at everybody that's here. And as you can imagine, yes, I've been at Kettering like a long time. GMI, I've served with a number of different presidents. And I also would like to thank Dr. McMahon, because I've seen a lot of changes over the years, as you can imagine, okay? From when we were GMI to GMI, M&I, and I want to thank you, Dr. McMahon, for your leadership, in terms of bringing Kettering into the real world. So thank you very much for your leadership. But I would also like to honor you, okay? I know that perhaps you are here to honor me, but no man is alone, okay? No man is alone. So I want to honor a couple people in my life, you know. I want to first to honor God, because God has been with me throughout this journey from day one.
Amen.
At GMI in 1973. So I want to thank God for His blessings and to give me the strength, you know, to continue to take one step after the next, day after day. I want to also to thank my wife. My wife has always been there with me, and all the long nights and raising the 4 kids, and I want to thank her for everything that she's done, has been by my side each and every day. So I want to definitely I would also want to thank my dear friend over there, Mr. and Mrs. Dr. Ronald Stewart. He's known me like 45 years or so. He's the godparents of one of my kids, and so he's been such a great friend when I need help and advice and just understanding, how to play golf better. I want to also thank also my wife's sister, Jan Daniels, who flew up here from South Carolina, just to be here tonight. And she's always been a big part of our lives, and I want to honor her for just being with us all of these years as well. And my brother, Jared Berry and Jamaica Berry, he's been, of course, my baby brother, although he can't tell it inside, he is my baby brother. Okay. But also, I also want to honor my 2 daughters who got a BS and a MS here at Kettering University. I'm so proud of them, of course, for their hard work. I'm also proud of my daughter and my son who got their engineering science degrees from the Ohio State. The Ohio State. I want to thank them for all of their hard work as well. And so it's not about me. I want to thank you for everything that you've done, everything that maybe you have done for me, and because no man gets to success without another, for sure. And I also want to thank Raymond Fears. He had a few words to say about me. I have a few words to say about him. Real quick, he was the first person I met at GMI. He was my RA. And eventually, I pledged under him. But I wanted to tell you just a quick story about why or what we were about as the GMI students. We had gone to a party down at the Delta chapter, and then we came back to GMI at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was struggling with engineering graphics. At 3 o'clock in the morning, even as an IA, he came down to my room at 3 o'clock in the morning and helped this dumb old engineer understand 3-dimensional engineering graphics.
I am the best.
I will never, ever forget that. But that's what GMI was about. Because all we had was each other.
Indeed.
We didn't have the internet. We didn't have YouTube. Okay? We didn't have cell phones. Okay? All we had during those years was each other and a book. That's all we had. No YouTube, no internet, no Google, okay, no cell phone. All we had was each other and a book. And we helped each other out. We helped each other to be a success. And so I want to honor you guys. I want to honor Anisha for everything that she's always done. Yeah. I'm only just a humble servant of God, and I thank God for all my blessings. But I want to honor you because you've touched me in many ways, that perhaps isn't clear. My fraternity brothers, I got through GMI. I got through being a professor in mechanical engineering department because of everybody who was touching my lives. When I had to pledge the fraternity, those experiences helped me to be the person who I am today. And my family helped me to be the man of character that I am today. And the reason why I work so hard because I believe that I have a lot to give. And I'm so thankful for God for everything He has given to me. And I have a lot to give back. So I want to thank Anisha. I want to thank Kettering University. I want to thank Dr. McMahon, and I want to thank everybody for what you've done for me. I want to honor you. And lastly, I want to honor my seniors, Dr. Dave Green and Dr. P. Carices. They were here before me, and they helped me when I was just a lonely assistant professor. I was so afraid and so intimidated when I first got back as an assistant professor, and they helped ground me, you know, and said, Joe, it'll be okay, you know, because it had only been 8 years since I was here as a student. I was so intimidated by these professors. I had so much respect for them. I said, I'll never make it here. I'll never make it here. But they helped me, and so I want to thank them as well. So thanks, Venetia. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everything that this university has done for me. And thank you very much.
I am so looking forward to those dance moves. Next up.